Today, Justin is going to war, cutting this 786 carat possible black opal.
G'day. Well, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. Saxon and I have been away on a fishing trip and we've had a great time, but it's time to get back into it. And we're starting off this week with a 786 carat monster piece of opal, and we're going to war. This piece was bought in a parcel that I paid $25,000 for, and it's a pretty big risk. Now there's some telltale things about this opal that I believe will cut well, but let's start up by scratching all of the sand off the surface, cleaning it up and see where those color bars go. Rightio, so we've got a color bar here, and I think that's the same color bar here, and it seems to run this way. I dare say there's probably going to be something showing up underneath. So what I'm going to do is try and scrape some of that sand off and see if we can see any type of skin underneath, or where the opal starts and the sand stops. So it's a bit of a challenge. It's very tough, very hard stuff.
Dad can tell that this opal comes from a field with very hard ground. Sandstone can come in different forms, as it can be very soft but also very hard, to the point where the miners call it shin cracker.
Yeah, it's pretty hard like concrete.
As the name suggests, shin cracker first got its name because the miners kept cracking their shins on the hard sandstone while working out on the fields. It was unforgiving stuff, and the name just stuck for good.
Yeah, I reckon you're right, Sax. I thought I'd be able to see a nice clean face, but it's not that easy. Alright, well, let's just start on this.
Weight-wise, this is the biggest parcel I've seen Dad buy in a very long time. And honestly, I was a bit nervous because I didn't see the potential of what this could possibly cut. And Dad saw something that I couldn't see. And what you're about to see is the reason why Dad took such a risk and bought this parcel.
You can see there that potch is now starting to go black there. And you can see, look at that. Very black right there, which is a really amazing sign. Oh, this is going to take some figuring out, that's for sure.
And with the black starting to show just underneath the skin, things are looking good. Now, all we have to do is hope that there's a big bright color bar. If it was only that easy.
Oh, there's a nice chip sitting there, just breaking away.
When watching Dad cut these bigger stones, and especially the more pricey ones, I try and picture what his next move's gonna be. And as you'd expect, it isn't always the most straightforward move that he goes for. It's pretty unorthodox how you cut opal, each gem being remotely different to the last one, especially in gems like this one, where the color bar isn't exactly obvious. And it just goes to show how much work really goes into opal cutting, as what you see is really important, but also it's what you know. I've just pulled the other microphone out, Dad, and I wanted to talk to you about how you knew it was going to turn black. Because you said it to me after you bought it, but I didn't quite understand at the time until you explained it to me.
A long time ago, when my dad and I were buying together, we found this one miner was mining this type of stuff, and we took a punt on the fact that it looked like grey, but it could have turned black inside, and we decided to give it a go. and everything inside of it turned black. And this is exactly the same stuff. And maybe one or two claims over from where we bought it from. Yeah, I just had a really good feeling that this was going to be very similar sort of opal. And it seems to be turning out that way. I will say though, that the colour bars are not as clean or easy or neat as the other opal that I bought. So challenges are on the way, because there is all sorts of things going on in this piece, that's for sure.
I find it so impressive that some rough that you bought 20, 30 years ago, you recognise the same characteristics about it.
Yeah.
And you were correct about it. I don't know if that's a coincidence or just years and years and years of experience, but it's pretty impressive either way.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's just the things that you remember are usually the good ones, and when you lose money you also remember them. So I guess experience, when things happen like this and memories are made, you just don't forget them, especially when they're important like this.
So there you have it. Dad was confident that the gems in this parcel were going to turn black because of a parcel that he bought 30 years ago with his dad. To me, this is so impressive, and he acts all nonchalant about it. And this is probably due to the fact that he does this more often than not. Picking up differences between different gems from different fields, whether it be the colour bar, the pattern, the shape, how it's formed, its size even, a whole bunch of things come into play when it's crunch time on the wheels. But this also brings me to a sad reality that I have to face. And that is that I may never reach the level of knowledge that Dad has about cutting opal. And that's because not only did he spend thousands of hours cutting opal, but he lived through the 90s on the opal fields when they were booming, seeing so much material come out of the ground from all the different fields around the ridge. But there's still hope, and it's not just for me, because Justin has created an online opal cutting course going into depth about his various techniques, from shaping, dopping, polishing, slicing, and a whole lot more. And he even goes into detail about the different opal fields around the ridge. So if this is something that interests you, click the link in the bio or scan the QR code.
Looking at this, it can follow through, but I'm not sure, because there's a big blob of potch right there that is squeezing or pinching the colour. So I'm going to start by slicing that corner off and just see where that travels in on the inside there, and we'll go from there. Let's get on the wheel. Slice up.
And here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that in the 90s, the Lightning Ridge Bowls Club had the highest turnover out of any bowls club in the entirety of Australia? And this was due purely to the amount of opal coming out of the ground. And this is because miners that had nothing to their name would find a patch, and all of a sudden they were millionaires. Things are starting to turn for the worse with our colourful rock. With more and more slices happening, Justin is not finding the colour that he's after. And after 3 slices, he decides to take it right through the centre. This is going to be the make or break for the gem.
So we've sliced right through the middle of this piece, thinking that there'll be colour here and then colour here going in. And and I've also taken edges everywhere off the sides. I sliced pieces away. And while there's some nice colour around, we've got a really pretty butterfly pattern on the inside, but it's very, very wishy-washy. Now it has turned black like I had planned, but that colour is not really clean enough to be cutting gemstones out of.
I think you should just polish them up as they are and make them into earrings.
one big heavy set of earrings. Alright, so we've got a nice big chunk of colour, and I really don't think we should cut gems out of it. I think we should leave this as a really pretty specimen and polish it on all sides, and it can be just a gorgeous example of seam opal from Lightning Ridge. Let's start smoothing it.
So there you have it, yet another gem that is decided to cut in a completely different way to what we thought. There still is the chance that there's a beautiful looking gem somewhere in these two pieces, but the risk to reward just doesn't seem worth it to cut open these stones to find some little gems. So Dad has made the mature decision to leave them as big beautiful freeforms, which, as you know, is very not like him, but it's good to change it up once in a while. So let's follow along and see how these beautiful big freeforms turn out. Although it did turn black, we didn't quite end up with the gems we were hoping for. We did, however, end up with this beautiful pair of freeforms, which is a nice change from the usual. It showcases the beautiful patterns and how the opal is formed over millions of years. So if these were your gems, what would you do with them? Would you cut them to see if you can get the inner beauty out, or would you leave them how they are? Let us know in the comments below. We appreciate you sticking around for this video, and we'll see you next time.